So I'm back with another super simple tutorial that you can do either with your kids, if you don't have kids, nieces, nephews, even just for yourself and your friends. It's no big deal for whoever. Even if you don't bake, you can use this. So basically we're starting with our shredded coconut here and putting in our food coloring. And if you notice, I have 2 bottles of food coloring instead of 1. And that's just because I like the color that I got from using both of them together. When I tried it with just the dark green, it was too dark, and the light green was too light. So, you know, Goldilocks, one's too hot, one's too cold. Mixed both of them together and it was perfect. So that's why I ended up using the 2. You don't need to go out and buy 2 different food colors, especially if you don't use it all the time, but a regular green will work just fine. I just happen to like the way they look mixed together, so that's why I have 2. So pretty much what you do here is just put in a little bit of food coloring, mix it around with your coconut in the ziplock bag until you start noticing that the clumps are breaking up and you get in a more even color throughout the bag. It might take a few minutes to mix all this together, but it'll be worth it in the end. Just make sure you notice that everything's covered. You don't want any white spots left in your bag. So that's pretty much what you're doing here. Next, you want to break out your muffin pan. This one obviously is just a standard cupcake pan. This is a ball tool that I have that I use for my fondant modeling and stuff, so that's why I have that. It's not necessary for you to have one or go buy one. You can use your fingers or anything you have that's kind of small and round that fits in there. I just happen to have one of those and it worked for me. So you're going to put your first Rice Krispie treat into the cavity or cake pan hole, I don't know what you want to call it, but you just basically put that first one in and kind of use your fingers. Obviously I was trying to use a tool, it didn't work out too well initially, so you just want to use your fingers to kind of put that in there, squish it around. You're basically trying to fill up the hole with the Rice Krispie treat, and you want to make sure it gets all the way down to the bottom. That's kind of why I was using this tool, just to make sure it got all the way down into the corners, because you want it to have that actual nest shape and it's going to be able to stand up after you're done. So even if you're just using your fingers, you can push it down in there just to make sure that that's working. But either way, you just want to make sure that you're getting your Rice Krispie treat all the way into the hole and not that you have spaces or it's going to come out crooked. So you see there, it's kind of sticking now. Obviously Rice Krispie treats are made with marshmallows, so they're pretty sticky. So you just want to take some of your non-stick Pam or whatever kind you use. You don't have to use Pam, butter, Crisco, whatever works to make this stop being sticky. Just put some of that on both ends. Even rub some on your fingers too, if that helps, just so you won't have that stickiness going on. And then just kind of use that to form the actual hole within your nest so you can put stuff into later. So that's what I'm using this tool for. Again, you don't need one of these. You can use your fingers. They work just fine. But I like using it just because I like the uniformity that it gives me, and just basically a round hole. They're pretty much all the same. So this is kind of the finished product. You can use 2 Rice Krispie treats if you want. I just used 1 just to show you guys, but 2 will obviously make it a little bit higher on the size, a taller nest. If you want one, then that's what you would go for. So now we're going to go and actually use a smaller pan just so you can see that it's pretty much the exact same process. It's just in a tinier hole. So same thing, you put your Rice Krispie treat into the hole. You want to use your fingers or your tool, which clearly again didn't work initially, to make sure that you get it all the way to the bottom. And it's a lot easier in the smaller pan just because there's less space to take up. So it's pretty quick of a process once you get the Rice Krispie treat in there. You just want to use either your tool or your fingers to kind of get that fully rounded shape going on to make it easier to put in your other stuff later on down the line. Now you're just taking your coconut and M&Ms from earlier and filling in your nest. So you just pretty much want to fill this up almost to the top, but not too much because you still need some space for your M&Ms. And for the bigger nest, I use the robin's egg M&Ms, which is kind of the bigger ones. I think they have peanuts inside, I'm not sure. And then for the smaller nest, you're just going to do the same thing. A little bit of coconut inside just to fill it up. Not too much again, because you want to make sure you still have space for your candy. And then for this one, I use the plain M&Ms just because they're a little bit smaller, so it's easier to fit a few of them inside the nest. And pretty much that's your finished product once you're done. Thanks for watching, you guys.